Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, welcome back. If you're a returning viewer, if you're returning, thank you. If you know anything about me, you know that I do not like whales. I'm sorry, I know, gentle giants, ocean's beautiful creature, giant Leviathan thing. But for me, I just don't like whales, okay? People give sharks a bad rap, but I think it's really the whales we gotta talk about, okay? They're just very spooky, very ominous. I think they get up to some crazy things when it's just one person in the ocean. But today we'll be watching a video called Why You Probably Have No Idea What a Whale Is by Casual Geographics. Now, I know a little bit about this man's content. I used to watch a lot on TikTok. I've been trying to lower my TikTok usage. I've muted the notifications, so I have no real reason to tie me back in there. I just, I open it maybe like once every other week, check on what people send me, do a quick little scroll for a second, and then never open it again. All right. But luckily, I get to watch this amazing content still on YouTube. So if you guys want to watch this video, make sure to check the description down below and make sure to like and subscribe if you guys enjoy it. But on to the video. Whoosh. If that was me, man, if that was me, I can't say what I want to say anymore. I don't know what YouTube will get me for what it won't. But let's just say, if I was in that whale's mouth for more than 2.2 milliseconds, y'all, don't even go for me because I'm already gone. You know what I mean? And I didn't let the whale take me, y'all. That's all I'll say.
This is a whale.
Hideous.
This is a whale.
Hideous.
But this is also a whale.
Terrifying.
So is this one. And this is where
I'm cool with killer whales. Oddly enough, I'm cool with killer whales. I'm cool with whale sharks too. But like killer whales, like I know they get up to some crazy things, but it's like they're named killer whales for a reason. They wear it on their chest. They wear it on their sleeve. I can't really get them for the crime that they admit to do. Well, you know what? That was a bad analogy. Listen, I'm cool with killer whales because Free Willy was a cool movie when I was growing up, and so I rock with them.
all the problems started. Fun fact, I'm left-handed, so I'm not always right. And when I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And boy, I was wrong.
Whoa, Kendrick. Let's calm down. I didn't know I was doing a music reaction.
Wrong about this aquatic Oreo onslaught, and chances are, so were you. Chances are, you have no clue what a whale actually is, and to explain, we need some lore. If you're watching this, or reacting to this, and you happen to be a
That's me! He pointed me out. And you too. He pointed us out, y'all. That's us. No, I'm taking this for me. It's rare that I get called out in these videos.
afraid of whales, you can blame it all on this guy. You see, this guy, thanks for unpausing by the way, this guy
What? Whoa, how did he know that? Wait a second. Wait 1 second. How did he know? If I unpause the video, he said something about me unpausing it again, I'm gonna go crazy.
I had a problem. Pachycetus saw where things were headed on land and decided they wanted none of it. Funny enough, some of them decided that losing legs wasn't worth it and chose to stay on the dry side. And about 50 million some years later, they would become the most infamous animals to grace this channel. Which means, yes, the closest living relative of an African homicide horse that technically can't swim is a group of animals that swim full time. Speaking of which, those that chose waves over caves enjoyed ample resources with less competition. With all those resources plus plenty of plot development, eventually that led to
Whales of the world. I think my least favorite whale is the humpback whale. I think these are my least favorite. Just because, like, I always have this terrible fear. And I know I talk about it so many times. Some of y'all will know what I'm talking about when I say this. But imagine you're swimming in the ocean, right? You can be with your buddies. You got a boat. I don't care. You go in the water, it's nighttime, pitch black. Let's say it's daytime. I feel like it's scary with daytime. It's daytime, sun beaming down, but you see that pure cutoff point of darkness. Now imagine, close your eyes for a second. You see a silhouette moving through the bottom, coming up slowly, it getting bigger and bigger, and all you hear is when I tell y'all, I thought about this many of times. I'm popping out the emergency cinder block and sinking myself to the ocean floor at 2.2 milliseconds per minute. Because what do you mean, bro? And like it's swimming up. It doesn't gotta be swimming at me, for real. Let me look over and I see it swimming towards me. And I hear, like I think what this came from was that scene from Finding Nemo, where Dory was like, "Hey, look, it's a fish. Hey, little guy. You know where something Sydney is?" And then you see it slowly turn, and it starts to move. And then it gets closer and closer until you realize it's a giant whale. Couldn't do it since. Never. You'll never catch me out of waist-length water, and you're lucky you get me that deep. Pause.
Yup, that is how we got the giant mass merchants that we all know, love, and slightly fear today. But the public school system means there is a lot we and internet backwards hat heads have misunderstood about them, and the biggest thing is what exactly a whale is. Well, here it goes. Cetaceans are mammals that stole the fish's entire flow, and at this point its law should be in the Constitution. Same traits, no relation means convergent evolution. Except manatees and dugongs. They're more related to elephants. There's two types of cetaceans, baleen whales, aka the toothbrush bristles for teeth type, and on the other side are odontoceti, or tooth whales. You know all this, we talked about this, but let's talk.
I thought when that one whale in Pinocchio had teeth, I thought it was just for like artistic like freedom. I thought they were just being like little silly guys who like, let's make this whale scary and give it teeth. Whales really got teeth? I mean, like I know like orcas have teeth, but I didn't think like a whale like that would have teeth.
Talk about those toothed whales. Starting with family Zophiidae, I don't know how to pronounce any of this by the way, but Zophiidae, or the beaked whales. They're probably the most underrated and understood.
Why is there a British whale on my screen? What? Why? Like, beans on toast, beans on fish, mate.
Whale we'll talk about. I kind of feel
I'm sorry if you're British. I promise. It's not personal.
Bad for them. It's not that we're not curious. It's just that their grocery trips take them to the absolute crotch of the ocean at up to down to nearly 10,000 feet or 3,048 meters or about 33 Statues of Liberty. They also do really bad in captivity, like as bad as you think a whale would do, they subvert that. They also look like dolphins with the aspect ratio screwed up. You know how some movies will tell you that it's been modified to fit your screen? Nature did this blimp dolphin no such favors. Also, the Cuvier's beaked whale can hold its breath longer than any other mammal, with an all-time record of 3 hours 42 minutes.
Okay.
Which is probably why we know so little about them. 99% of their time is in ocean incognito, so you know seeing a whole pod of them is something special. Now the next family of toothed whales is Physeteridae, or the sperm whale.
Whoever chose that name, check their medieval PC, man. Check their paperwork, check their documents.
I also feel bad for them because a misunderstanding got them immortalized being branded after baby batter. You see, what had happened was when whalers back in the day cut up the supersized cetacean, they were met with an organ filled with a chalky substance called spermaceti, which they assumed was just a nectar of nativity. What it actually is this kind of gel that helps amplify the sounds they use for echolocation. It also might help them with their diving, but we're not totally sure, but it's definitely not make a baby broth. Speaking of which, population-paced whales also dive deep. Not as deep as a Cuvier's beaked whale, but deep enough to trigger the devil's ring camera, or far enough to jump scare a deep sea drone. You know what? I get it.
Yo, if I was that drone, I would took out my motherboard.
If I was a recovering cetophobic, this would take me right out of remission. But if it helps, there is no documented case of a sperm whale census subtracting a person, even though they could technically do it without touching us. As arguably the loudest animals on Earth, or at least something close, the same clicks they use to hunt could possibly vibrate you to death, if not just knock you out.
Y'all hearing they can vibrate me to death? What? I never heard nothing like that in my life. What do you mean they can vibrate me to death? Or are they the Flash? Are they Barry Allen? Like, what? You tell me if I'm just in it, like, go back to that scenario I said, right? Ocean, sunny day, dark bottom. You hear you're cooked. There's not even like a thing where like you don't even get to be scared. You're just cooked. Your atoms vibrate apart and you just cease to exist.
Which apparently has happened. But they're not all bad. The spawn of Moby is very family oriented and will even host family reunions. And they practice democracy.
And look, like I said, bro, swept under the rug. Now they're family friendly. They ain't have no family reunion. They having a gathering, a collection.
because they make decisions as a group and sometimes
A rally.
they'll spend over an hour arguing which way to go and how fast to do it. That's mighty considerate for the literal biggest predator on the planet. Oh yeah, there's also the much smaller dwarf sperm whale, not to be confused with the pygmy sperm whale. They're like nature's apology letter for going too far with their giga-sized cousins. They also always look like they're on the verge of a perpetual panic attack, and wouldn't you know, that's exactly how they defend themselves. By unloading a sack filled with reddish-brown liquid as a diversion. It's like a smoke bomb from their anus. Although not sure how effective it is.
So you're telling me they just pooped themselves? Like they just pooped themselves? And that these are y'all champs? I'm just saying, you know, I'm team shark all the way. Not like all the way. I know some sharks be getting up to some nasty things, but I'm team whale shark. You know what I mean? I'm team whale shark. I feel like that's the team I'm on by myself. You know, I rock with some sharks. Lemon sharks, they cool. Bull sharks be on bulls, so we ain't rocking with them. Mako sharks, solid. Hammerhead, not rocking with them. They look weird, not doing it. Great whites, gotta respect it. I gotta at least respect it, you know. Those goblin sharks, yeah, they gotta go on the bus with the whales. No, thank you. I don't know. Again, British shark. I don't know who made that.
When you proceed to rear end a rock. Okay, that's two families of toothed whales. Next are Plantanistidae, or the South Asian river dolphins. And you know what? I'm
sitting rubbing my nose like I got a snout, bro.
The South American river dolphins, even though they're really not even related. Matter of fact, they're not even dolphins. Oh yeah, the effery is just beginning. This undersea anxiety unicorn is more related to actual dolphins than what folks call river dolphins. But yeah, not a real dolphin, just a beady-eyed snout whale named purely off of vibes. Something, rhyme about conversion evolution, but basically they peeped the fish-eating gharial's headwear and figured they could make that work for them. But yeah, the Amazon river dolphin is an exceptional kind of freaky. Not only does it look like nature's discarded chewing gum got on a diss track, it seems like every time they go viral, it's for some NSFW nonsense.
What are you talking about,
A photographer once caught two river dolphins playing with a Benny anaconda when he realized two things. Their leather pool noodle was dead, and both dolphins' privates were standing at attention. And recently, another river whale made headlines for urinating in the air, with another one following the stream, like Marco Polo but with piss. Scientists were stumped, but of course, I have a half-educated, half-internet guess. You see, dolphins can recognize each other by name. It's actually pretty cool. They can also tell each other apart by sampling their southern showers, so they got that two-factor authentication. And while they might not be
y'all never catch me in no pool with no dolphin. I'm gonna end up like Hank Kill in that one episode, man. That if you know, elite ball knowledge. But that ain't never about to be me, man. I am never about to be no tank with no dolphin alone. I better be like with Jason Statham or something to protect me.
With the murky cataract water they live in, they might as well be. So maybe this is just two dolphins using Forbidden Face ID before giving them the how the heck are you? Or that could just be their idea of male bonding. Because there's also been a rumor that allied male river dolphins will do questionable things to each other's blowholes. It hasn't been proven, but I wouldn't put it past them. There's even a legend that says river dolphins will morph into human men at night and try to seduce and impregnate human women. Now, I don't want to go too hard on them, mostly because there's a portion of
you know how freaky you have to be as an animal for people to make folklore that you're so freaky, you turn into a human at night to just get more freaky. You know how freaky you have to be? Like, that's not like the level of freak you have to hit is like, these are Diddy's animals. These are like on Diddy's Neverland. Like, it's just nothing but dolphins, river dolphins. Somehow both of them are freaky, no matter whether it's the ocean or the river. He has, what's another freaky ass animal? Sperm whales, because they named sperm. Like, put them on the island too.
Twitter that genuinely believes I hate dolphins, but also because we've done river dolphins generationally dirty, whether by habitat destruction, pollution, or just killing them to make bedroom pills, if you know what I mean. A moment of
you know how freaky you have to be used in Viagra? You know how freaky that is? Like, they had to absorb your freakiness to give it to someone else. That's like insane. That's insanity. You imagine, right? Imagine if we took Diddy and it was like, we're all out of blue chews or honey packs. We need more. And then we just like take Diddy's sweat and just squeeze it into a bottle of like Powerade. And all of a sudden you're just, you know what I mean? It's like, you know how that's like, that's in your genes. That's in your DNA. That's not even just like a personality thing.
The silence for the Chinese Baiji, who likely died out in 2002 and hasn't been seen since. And now we finally get to Delphinoidea, the real reason I'm making this video. It's a superfamily reunion containing the real oceanic dolphins Delphinidae, dolphin understudy the porpoise, a sentient squishmallow, and social anxiety in whale form. And the biggest oceanic dolphin of Delphinidae is the orca. Look, I'm gonna make this quick because you probably already heard this, but every time you've heard me say killer whales aren't actually—
look at them doing the work. Taking out the ditties of the sea. And y'all want to call them the bad guys because we decided to call them killer? Yeah, anyone look bad if you called their whole entire species killers. Okay? If you any race, if you call them killer, insert race here, we ain't gonna look at them a certain way. We ain't gonna be like, whoa, this is racial profiling. It's just profiling.
Whales are dolphins. It's like me saying humans aren't simians.
Look
or
at that
primates.
vert though.
Every dolphin is a whale, crazy. But not every whale is a dolphin. And I'm kind of embarrassed it took me that long to realize. Now, to be fair, it is true that killer whales are named less after their homicidal intent and more after what they were seen doing to other whales. And while—
and they getting the whales out of here, that's how I know they're my dog. That's how I know. They're attacking everything I hate in the ocean.
it is well documented what orcas do to the world around them. I've said it before.
I got nothing against seals,
so
I don't that's actually think
time, you know
orcas
are evil. In fact, I'll prove it. So this camera crew was documenting a group of zebras hunting, and all was good until the big mama of the group noticed—
You call them zebras? That's kind of funny.
The diver. She approached a completely defenseless and totally exposed man and examined him, almost like she was considering what the next move was. The next move was a 4-ton high-contrast ceticide offering him a half-eaten stingray, even gesturing towards it at the diver. She even picked it up and tried to basically hand it over to him like he was an anorexic orca. But later on, the same crew would find a much bigger bull male orca trapped in fishing lines and on the verge of drowning. Now this was different. This was a scared, panicking juggernaut that could easily murk anyone that got close. For reference, a bull elephant in the same situation would likely kick your
God! Oh my lord! Like that's the weight behind it. Yeah, you're cooked. Like, who in this world, who in this watching this video right now would see a wild animal? I don't care. It could be if it was a monkey, I'm definitely not doing it. It could be any animal. I'm not petting it. I'm not going up to it. I'm not trying to be friendly with it. I'm walking away. I don't care if it does. It could be a worm, and I'm not about to go pet it. You gonna do that with an elephant?
Chested. The divers would make the gamble of cutting him free while very much in the Giga Guppy's hitbox. He didn't lash out, he didn't resist. The male stood still, almost like he understood what was happening. And this is the same animal that allegedly won't give moose a pass. You've probably heard that a wild orca has never turned a human into a headline, and it's probably because that's just not their culture. Orcas have a genuine—
We ain't calling them killer whales no more. We calling them orcas around here. I better not see no killer whales. I mean, I better not see y'all call them no killer whales. Only I can call them that, because I ride with them.
Genuine culture and different languages, and when I say languages, orcas in New Zealand have a different accent from those in Norway. They also have trends too. Like trends, like the same ones we do. Back in the ancient time of the 1980s, a trend started where folks were wearing dead salmon as hats. Except it was started by a lady orca in the Cape pod of British Columbia. The salmon sporting trend spread to even other pods, but like all fads, it suddenly fell off, never to be seen again. Yeah, that was a lie. In 2019, the salmon spectacle spun the block, this time with a young male, proving that like baggy clothing and iPhone obsolescence, some trends never die. And if I had a nickel for every time an orca went viral for its headwear, I'd have 2 more nickels than I woke up with. But that second nickel would be a lot more bittersweet. A mother orca telequa was observed carrying her past tense baby for over 2 weeks and covering over 1,000 miles. It's not crazy that she did it. It's how long she refused to let go. What's crazier was that was 2018, and in 2025 she lost another baby and did the exact same coping tactic again. Now if it makes you feel better, the mother known as J35 has had 2 healthy children, one born in 2010 and the other in 2020, but it's always the losses that stay with you. Yeah, orcas feel all the feelings, including empathy, which might surprise you after you've seen one slapshot a seal into orbit. But what
Listen, I'm cool with seals. You know, they're like the dogs in the sea or something. But I don't know, maybe seals are up to something. Maybe it's, you know, it's an ocean thing. Maybe I gotta be in the ocean and know about it.
looks like playing with their food is actually how grand orcas teach the little ones what to eat and how to eat it. And if that sounds cruel, just remember, if they didn't do that, there'd be a lot more cases of monochrome maniacs murking mankind. Because the ocean is their omakase, and there's nothing...
I'm gonna still be real with you though. I'm not getting no water with no orca. You know what I mean? I respect them. I love them. But I ain't about to touch no water with them.
Live that can check an orca. This is a pilot whale. It is the second largest oceanic dolphin. They're also the Ferrari of whales because their hunting involves sea sprinting towards prey at 35-mile-per-hour bursts, which is conceptually terrifying for such a big dolphin. And it might be why pilot whales have the juice to press a pod of killer whales. Gangs of pilot whales have been recorded pulling up to orcas en masse and sending the apex predators packing. There was even a case...
Okay, so you just jumped them. Like, it's cool. Anyone could have done that. You know what I mean? How many is in the pod of orcas? Let's see. Okay, up to 15. Okay. What are these things called? Pilot whales run by like 20. They're upping it by 5. Like the lowest that a orca would be is like 2 to 15. You know what pilot whales are? It's 10 to 20. They're jumping them. They're no heroes. Oh my goodness. I'll run too if you got me outnumbered by like double.
Juice to press a pod of killer whales. Gangs of pilot whales have been recorded pulling up to orcas en masse and sending the apex predators packing. There was even a case of problem-seeking pilot whales pulling up on scientists playing the sounds of orcas feeding. Now there's a lot of reasons this could be happening. One is that maybe they eat the same foods and figured they could finesse some calories for themselves. But my personal favorite headcanon is that pilot whales practice the art of offensive self-defense, aka the honey badger method. Be so much of a problem that most predators don't even bother. But one thing, and I really should say this more often, but there are no definites in nature. Pilot whales apparently DoorDash smoke straight to orcas, and orcas have been known to prey on pilot whales, so you'd expect the two to have beef. But a mother orca was also seen adopting an orphan baby pilot whale.
Look! But this is a killer whale? If you watched my last video about the Cocoa Puffs theory, like those birds even raise those other birds. But orcas, they're raising these babies? Yo, we gotta change this name, though. We gotta call them lover whales. Well, not like that, y'all. Not like that.
So who knows what the pilots be packing? And then there's this guy, another dolphin on steroids that is definitely not an orca. In fact, it's a false killer whale, a jaws paralysis demon, and thalassophobia final boss. There's something about those eyes my spirit doesn't vibe with. It doesn't help that they can roll in groups of 500, 500. And if this demon guppy is your new nightmare, it's cause you don't know them. Falsies have been known to share food and hand fish over to humans for no real reason but goodwill, which actually makes a lot of sense since falsies will seek out other dolphins like bottlenoses as hunting buddies. Sometimes they seek out even more, leading to the hilarious hybrid known as a wolfin. Life finds a way. There's many dolphins in Delphinidae, and this video will look like Endgame if I describe them all. But there's a lot more dolphins than just a star flipper, like the Irrawaddy dolphin.
If I'm standing on a pier, looking at the beautiful ocean, right? Respecting Mother Nature. And I look down at my feet and I see this. I'm going to manifest the fattest blunder yet. And I'm going to eviscerate these two things. These are like little aliens. These don't even look like animals. Like, I always say this, that so many animals on this planet, so many insects on this planet, they look like something from another planet. Again, centipedes. What are we doing with that? Well, why do we got those? Imagine we didn't have centipedes on this planet. And then so an astronaut comes back from space and he's like, there was an insect or like a bug-like creature that had millions of legs. I'd be like, blow it up. Blow up that entire planet. Blow it up and then make sure none of the smithereens arrive anywhere else.
Just look at his face. Very cute, very demure. Or the optical illusion hourglass dolphin.
Oh, that
there's
cool.
more than just dolphins in Delphinoidea. You also got dolphin little brother, the porpoise. The smallest of all whales, with the smallest porpoise being the vaquita, at a modest less than 5 feet long. And
like
yes, their name does
dog.
mean little cow. And unfortunately, there's less than 10 little cows left in the world.
Okay.
And the last members of Delphinoidea are belugas and narwhals. Belugas are my second favorite cetacean of all time. They're a Bayside Baymax, and they have the same personality. They've been called the canaries of the sea due to the sounds of their symphony. You know, I could never understand why.
Imagine you're underwater. And mind you can hear this for a while. Sound travels underwater like crazy. You're hearing that? You're hearing sounds of birds chirping? I would lose it. I think I'm going like through oxygen deprivation. Oxygen deprivation.
Oxygen deprivation.
Oxygen deprivation.
I found this sentient marshmallow so adorable, but I think I figured it out. It's because they're the only whales that can turn their necks like us. Belugas are a boon from Poseidon, with some of the strongest family ties on Earth, and every summer, they'll return to their birthplace to molt, add life, and chop it up with old family members. In Hudson Bay, that means over 50,000 belugas in one place. Speaking of family, the beluga's closest relative is the narwhal. They actually belong to the family Monodontidae, which means one tooth, even though moving on. Narwhals typically have 2 teeth, one in their mouth and the giant ice pick coming out of their head. I say typically because narwhal tusks are a lot like legs. Some people have 2, some have 1, and those that lose the lottery wake up with none.
Wait, a narwhal can have 2? Oh, that's crazy. That's kind of OP, isn't it? Well, I mean, as a narwhal, I think I only want 1. I think I would only want 1 horn. I feel like 2 is just too much. I feel like 2 is like, what can I even aim with heading this way? You know what I mean? I have to like turn my head to hit it, and then at that point it doesn't even feel good to hit that thing with your neck like tilted. It's not bad. It's bad for your spine, your equilibrium. You know, it's not good for nobody. One horn should be enough for anybody. You know, they should give the extra horn to the whales that don't have them, the narwhals that don't got them.
It's not certain what the tusks are for, but I say it's a flex, because any question mark in nature usually has to do with we don't know that much about them, because I was not kidding about them being anxiety chariots. When narwhals get scared by humans, their hearts actually slow all the way down, even if they're actively trying to flee. Questionable character design, but it means narwhals can legitimately get past tense by a panic attack, which is why if one gets lost, it's basically curtains. One narwhal somehow ended up 600 miles away from his own kind, and with no one to show him how or where to hunt, it looked like this cetacean was finna say goodbye, until scientists caught him traveling with a pod of, the sea squishies. Belugas and narwhals normally don't even run into each other, so that makes this even more wholesome. And the fact that he survived the winter means Beluga Gang taught the lonely narwhal how to feed.
Okay.
You'd love to see it. And that's all
I can respect the beluga
whales.
then.
On the other side are filter feeding baleen whales, like the biggest animal to ever live, the blue whale.
No, bro. No, bro. This is what I'm talking about here. Like, seeing this big I'm probably as big as it, like, its fin is probably bigger than me. I would past tense myself if I saw this on the water, even this close.
Whale, the funny in the face right whale, and my favorite cetacean, the humpback whale. Now I know there's some of you afraid of this giant roving blubber rest stop. I can't.
Bro just knows me apparently. Bro knows all about me. He got me 3 times.
Imagine. You know, I almost forgot about that. Well, that guy survived because it is physically impossible for a baleen whale to swallow a person. In fact, the biggest animals in nature can barely swallow anything bigger than a grapefruit. So if you ever get caught up in krill and a whale accidentally takes you, expect to be spit out expeditiously. But I think I know where the fear comes from. Whales are big beyond all comprehension.
This scene right, bro, he sees it. This scene right here is the reason why I don't rock with whales.
And the idea that something with a pulse can legitimately go band for band with a ship is probably terrifying. But also, they don't have expressions, and a lot of times you can't see their eyes, so it's pretty hard to even imagine them as.
What do you mean? I can see the expression right now. Look, bro's frowning. You can see it because it goes down, right? When you frown, it goes down. When you're happy, it goes up. Bro's not happy with us, bro. And he's gonna make it known when we're alone, when he's in the zone. Alone.
Alive. But what if I told you the fact that they're so big is why you shouldn't be afraid of them? Humpbacks are my favorite cetacean because their generational feud with orcas means they'll interfere with their hunts even if the target isn't their own kind. Even the sounds of an orca hunt can bring the humpback hood to their front door, and humpback whales have been recorded saving seals, sunfish, and even other whales from the barcoded sea assault. But humpbacks have also been recorded saving humans, with one shielding a scientist from an 18-foot tiger shark. At one point, he literally put scientist Nan Hosser on his head and carried her to her boat. And the funny thing is, if we
We got on video though. I mean, I'm not saying I'm calling the scientist a liar. I'm just saying, what was the scientist studying out there? Was it whales by chance? Are they a whale fan? Do they like whales? Because I don't know. I'm just saying that could play a part. Could be a part.
We didn't see them do this with other animals, nobody would believe her. But with there being no recorded case of a baleen whale purposely attacking a human, they're much more likely to try to save your life than threaten it. Also, they seem to be aware of how much smaller everything is around them. Baleen whales have giant fins, often encrusted with sharp barnacles. In theory, they could shred you something nasty if a whale backfins you. But there have also been reports of whales using those fins to gently nudge divers without injuring them, like in the tiger shark story. My theory is they're so big and so intelligent that Baleen Brigade has no real reason for pointless aggression. Really, they're just giant salt puppies. And I am not advising you to go touch a whale, but gray whales are famous for being the friendliest, and in some places will curiously approach boats and even show off their babies to
I'm sorry. I can't. I'm still Team Orca. I just can't.
people. But yeah, whales are chill like that, and if you're still not convinced, I'm more than willing to stand on it. If this video gets to 250,000 likes, I will go out into the ocean and swim with a whale. Why so high? Well, one problem. I can't swim. I mean, I can.
Oh, you're about to be cooked, brother. You're about to be cooked. Enjoy that swim.
I can get from A to B, but I'm not great at it. Definitely not enough to be in the open ocean. Also, I can't tread water and I physically can't float. I've tried, it ain't happened. But if we hit the goal, I will learn how to swim well enough to make eye contact with a whale. Cause hot take, whales and elephants might just be the only animals on the planet where you can make eye contact with them and there's a genuine mutual understanding of intelligence. But that's just me. Why didn't I say apes? Well, you make eye contact with a chimp and you tell me how that goes. You know, I'll probably do it anyway.
Monkeys are so funny. Gorillas are also so funny. I know they're like not the same thing, but come on. We all classify. We know Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong aren't the same animal, but we classify them.
Anyway, but after 250,000, it becomes a promise, and I'll do it in a year's time. That's a challenge, but until then, drink water, hug your mother. Please don't hate dolphins. I don't even hate dolphins, and
I don't know, bro. I don't know. I can't respect it. They do some crazy things. Diddies of the sea.
I'll see y'all in the next one. You get it? Because y'all have a good one.
All right. Well, that was a really good video. I really enjoyed that. I will definitely be checking out more videos from this guy. This was a really good video. I think the only thing I really took from this was that there's a lot of different types of whales I could hate on. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, maybe that last whale, I can like redeem it in my mind. You know, I mean, if you're like, here's my thing with whales is that it's not that they haven't killed a person. It's just that we haven't found them killing a person. You know what I mean? Like, we just haven't seen it happen. Doesn't mean it didn't happen. Just means we haven't seen it happen. It could have happened, right? You know, if sharks weren't so bold and brash, if we never seen a shark kill somebody, we would be like, sharks would never. We never seen it happen. So it couldn't. They could drag you down to the bottom of the ocean or something. Not saying they would, but I'm just saying, just keep that in mind, you know? So I guess I'll redeem that last whale. Orcas are still fire, you know? Killer whales and orcas still top of my list. Or whale sharks and orcas are top of my list. I gotta stop saying that K word. It's offensive. I gotta stop saying that. Dolphins still bottom of the list. All forms of dolphins. That river dolphin right there with them. Yeah, that's really all I learned. I mean, still scared of whales, still won't swim with them, but I learned. So if you learned something from this video, make sure to put down in the comments down below. If you want to see this video, make sure to check the description down below. Hope you guys do the video. I've been Saimir Shogun, and good. Bye.